Hey, Shalom Markings Rakam Akapashim Jim Islam given all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Chachwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again, one of a quick video. It's coming, man. You know, these guys, they're laying at the plans, man, in front of us, right? And we said it will end up at this point at some point, right? And it's coming. You know, they're openly speaking about rationing, all right, and you know the fact that there's going to be lack of victuals, man, lack of produce, you know, as a food crisis about to occur, you know, as well as, you know, crisis with everything else, you know, fuel and, you know, energy and all this kind of business, right? But we've been talking about this for a long time because this is the end. We keep talking about it. This is the end, right? And these things are meant to happen. All right, so we knew this is what was going to come, you know, it's going to come down to it at some point. All right, but you had this president here, Macron from France. You know, he's talking about introducing vouchers, which I don't know what that means necessarily because, you know, most countries have a, you know, oh, well, I know United States has like food vouchers and stuff like that. So maybe that's just unique to a couple nations or whatever. But, you know, but this is a little bit different, all right? Because this is going to lead into something else, right? You see on these vouchers, you got these QR codes, right? The future is digital, right? And this is all going to be controlled digitally, right? They're not going to be handing out coupons, right? They're not going to be handing out coupons, man. That whole rationing system. There was an article, I couldn't find it. You know, on the front of it, on the image of it is rationing books. You know, back from the World Wars, right? How they rationed food, and you'd have to get it stamped to say you received X amount of, you know, whatever it is they allowed you to have. You know, you might, you know, get a dozen eggs or half a dozen eggs, a bit of meat, or, you know, loaf of bread, and that'd be you for the week. You know, whatever the case may be, some milk and cheese or whatever. But once you received it, you couldn't go get no more. You couldn't, even if you ran out, you couldn't get any more. That was your rationing for the week, and then you have to go back down to the store and do it all over again and get it stamped. Right? The future's digital. Okay, it ain't gonna be coupons. It ain't gonna be books. It ain't gonna be stamps. Okay, you can see the whole world is moving away from paper, and you know they want to do everything digitally, right? And this is where all this digital currencies come into it. This is where the blockchain comes in, the CDBDCs, the programmable money. Okay, and this is where the MOTB comes into it, right? And this is all going to be managed this way. Okay, not this old tech that man are using or showing around. No, right? So Macron's talking about these vouchers, right? That he's going to hand out to poor people. But the real one, right? And I said there was another article that I saw, man. I don't know where that's at right now. This is from CNN Business, right? It says gas rationing, right? Because everything that's going on right now is causing great strain on the economy, right? So if they're gonna start rationing stuff, okay, all they're mentioning is gas here, okay. So I'm not making it sound like, oh yeah, you know, or he's saying no, but that time will come when they if they can start rationing gas, they will start rationing other things when it becomes too scarce, right? That's you know, simple, right? That's what's gonna happen, right? So they're starting it, okay. It's coming. They're starting it, right? These men are talking about rationing gas because the whole situation with Russia and Ukraine, and you know, and like I said, it's affecting everything else too, right? And this article is a good article, right? It explains a little bit about that, right? So I'm gonna read some of this, right, and then grab a few scriptures, and then I'm gonna close up, right? It says gas rationing, food vouchers, and hunger. Economic pain from Russia's war is getting real, right? And it's just economic war. Russia's not gonna come to war Europe, okay? Not yet, right? You know, this world war is not going to happen right now, all right? But there is economic war taking place, wars and rumors of wars, right? Matthew 24, right? It goes on to say, as Russian soldiers bear down on Ukraine, increasingly desperate Ukrainians are running out of food and medicine, and the economic fallout from the invasion is beginning to spill over to the rest of the world too. Forecasts for global growth are being slashed, and the chance of a US recession in 2003 has risen to 35%, according to Goldman Sachs. Let's get that bit. Sanctions and other supply chain disruptions have sent customer prices surging across the world as oil and other commodity prices have spiked. Right, all this sanction business that these countries are doing nothing really harming themselves. Okay, but that's the idea. Okay, the elites are collapsing the world economy, right, to replace it with a new one. Okay, one that revolves around digital technology. Okay, one that revolves around the MOTB. Okay, when it's introduced to the world, right? They're setting up a new system. All right, so this is the whole idea of these sanctions, really to F up everything. Right, because there's no need and no reason why these people will be doing what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't do anything substantial, okay, other than mess themselves up or the people, right, in these nations. It says soaring gas and diesel prices are also adding to the cost of food, heightening fears that the world is on the brink of a hunger crisis. Yep. Okay, because it's all on the back of the pandemic too, and even before the pandemic, things were going down. Okay, bad crops and so on and so forth. Okay, but really started with the pandemic, with destroying all the infrastructures, the methods, all the logistics and all that kind of stuff. People being off sick and losing jobs and companies closing down, all this kind of business. It's carried on, and there's obviously this war or this invasion, whatever, is exacerbating the issues. Right? It says France's government, we just read from Macron, right, is considering food vouchers to help residents afford to eat. A commodities trading company said diesel is in such short supply it may soon have to be rationed. And like I said, it's going to start off there. It's going to start off with diesel, but when other things are going to get scarce, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start rationing everything else, and this is what we told you is going to happen. Okay, you want to live on rations, man. The West is going to be living on rations. The whole world, right, going to be living on rations, right? And you're going to get assigned, just like back then with the books, back in the World Wars, right? You was assigned things, a certain amount that you could acquire. All right, but like I said, it's not going to be handled. Ain't going to be handled with no books and no paper, no coupons, vouchers, and all this business. They're gonna move. They're gonna move onto that digital currency, them CBDCs. That's why it's all being developed, right? That programmable money, okay, where you can only use it for specific items for a specific time, and or whatever parameters they want to put on that currency for for how it can be used, right? Complete control is about to be asserted over the people, right? And because this place is gonna, the economy is gonna collapse. This new system that's gonna be put in place, there's not gonna be another way to do things, right? So you're gonna have to submit to the new system. That means you're gonna have to get on board with all this digital currency shit. That means you're gonna have to take the MOTB at some point if you want to continue operating in this new system, right? That's what Esau is doing. He's pushing you or forcing you down this road, okay, which leads to the road of perdition, right? It leads to your destruction. Okay, but this is what Esau is currently doing. This is what this is all about. Okay. Yeah, then that food insecurity. So the domino effect of Russia's invasion of Ukraine has sent food prices higher as gas prices surge. Fertilizer supply is shrinking. That has sent wheat, corn, vegetable oils, and soybeans prices through the roof. It's like a particularly troubling for countries already struggling with food insecurity. But developed economies are starting to feel the pain too. Okay, the so-called West. French President Emmanuel Macron said his government is considering food vouchers to help middle and low-income families afford to eat, calling the problem a worldwide food crisis. Okay, so we've been saying this for a long time, man, because it's all in the scriptures. And these are not our words that we speak. Okay, these are the words of the Heavenly Father, and these prophecies have to come. They have to come to pass. Once upon a time, right, people thought that was absurd. That we could be in this place again, because obviously during World War things got bad, right? But since then, since the recovery and since all the UN and NATO have been created and all this kind of business. We thought, oh yeah, the world, we're safe now. You know, we're never gonna be in a situation like that again. All these treaties and whatever agreements and that. But you don't think that things can go back to that, man, and get worse, right? But it's all coming because it's all necessary. It's all necessary evil that both sides bringing upon this place to destroy this place, right? Says, I want to put in place a food voucher system to help the most modest households and the middle class facing these additional costs, Macron said in an interview, blah, 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 right? So, whatever it is, maybe they don't have a food voucher system in their country, whatever the case may be, I don't know. But interesting, you got this word system in, whatever these bracket things are called, right? It's just, it's a system. They're going to bring in a system. It's going to be a new system. For France, it is new, but but they don't know what they mean. All right, you're gonna be seeing forging vouchers and stuff like that to get free food. No, they can't have that. Okay, it's gonna have to be certified. It's gonna be have to digitized and done on the blockchain and all this. So it can't be forged. It can't be falsified. Because no doubt you're gonna have people trying to get more than what they're rationing. What they're being given. That's only natural, right? If you got opportunity to get more, people are gonna get more, especially when you're lacking. All right. So global wheat prices have skyrocketed as supplies from Russia and Ukraine have been largely cut off from the rest of the world. Together, the countries export 30% of the world's wheat. Fertilizer supply is low, too, as energy prices surge. The shockwaves have even reached the world's biggest economy. US food prices rose 1% in February, the largest monthly increase since April 2020. Over the past 12 months, overall US food prices increased 7.9%, the biggest jump since July 1981. Egypt this week fixed the price of bread to limit surging prices caused by supply chain disruptions. In the 3 weeks since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the price of unsubsidized bread has jumped by as much as 25% in some bakeries. Okay, here's a portion on the rationing. Okay, right. Energy prices have surged across the world as the globe has shunned Russia crude, the oil, right? It says the country's oil has been banned by the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, and the oil companies in Europe. Shell, Nestle, Total are phasing it out too. If Europe were to adopt a full embargo, could force Russia to reduce supplies by 3 million barrels per day, putting the world at risk of an extreme oil supply shortage unless OPEC nations begin to quickly ramp up production, an action they've been hesitant to take. CEO of Dutch commodity trading company Vitol said this week putting Russian oil off the Western market will force drivers and truckers to ration diesel fuel. All right. The thing that everybody's concerned about will be diesel supplies. Europe imports about half of its diesel from Russia and about half of its diesel from the Middle East. Meanwhile, the UK government is cutting taxes to help keep fuel affordable. Finance Minister Rishi Sunak said Wednesday that he will cut gas and diesel taxes for 1 year. The government will also raise the income threshold to payroll tax to 30 million people. Blah blah blah. Right, but he been implicated in some shadiness. Mr. Rishi Sunak, he profiting from these Russian companies. Him and his wife. He acting like he don't know. But that's a separate matter. Right, but like I said, it's coming, man. Everything that we're speaking about is coming. Right? It's right on the money. It's 2nd Ezra chapter 15. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right? This is going to turn violent eventually. All this all this hypocrisy, it's going to lead to unrest, man. Big time, right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, okay, which is food, victuals, right, commodity, right, and for great tribulation, man, because these people are going to be catching hell. These people are gonna be cashing hell at some point, man, real bad. Okay, now it's not bad. Now it's just it's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable a little bit. It's inconvenient, right? But it's not bad yet. Things are gonna get bad. They're gonna get terrible, right? And it's gonna end with violence in the streets, man. Okay, blood being shed, people being put to death. Okay, because of the lack of things, man. And it's all being set up right now. You can't see it. It's all being set up, right? The pandemic played a part in it. Okay, now we're on to the next thing now. Now everything's surrounding this Russia-Ukraine thing. All right, it's all adding to the collapse, man. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. All right, these farmers and that, okay, they plant their crops and that, they use heavy machinery, tractors and combine harvests and that. What do you think that runs on? Air? No, man, diesel. Okay, them things don't use petrol, man. They use diesel. Right? But if there's a shortage, guess what? Less harvesting is going to be going on. That's for sure. These men might not even be able to balance the books on that, man. They might just shut up shop and then stop being a farmer, man. So fuck this, man. Because they're losing money. If they go keep free, if the price of diesel is so high, they can't afford to keep their machines running, man. Their business going. Right? It's all gonna have its effect. That means less wheat, less corn, and all this stuff on the market. It's all having a knock-on effect. Okay, it's all getting worse. All right. Since suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. Okay, your stores now are not going to be as full as they once were, and you're already seeing that. You already noticed that. I noticed that. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just inconvenient right now. Can't get certain things. You have to buy alternatives. Things brands you don't usually buy, or cuts you don't usually get, or whatever the case may be. So it's inconvenient at this moment in time, but people are going to be in pain, man. People are going to be hurting. Okay, people are going to be going for an evil time, right? And like I said, it's being set up right now. All right, and I'm going to end it with this, right? Because this is where it ultimately all leads to, right? Your dependency on the government, right? They're going to ration your shit, right? So you're going to have to go or basically get given, okay, your rationing is basically what you can and can't have, what you can and can't do, kind of stuff, right? And yeah, and the way they're gonna allow you to access that is if you have this MOTB, right? That's where it goes. That's where it leads to. All right, because you gotta be part of the new system. If you ain't part of the new system, okay, then you're not in it, right? You're not in the club, right? So you don't get the benefits. Like the EU, you're not a part of the EU. You don't get the EU benefits, man. So you gotta be a part of the new system, right? Which is gonna require you to take this MOTB, right? So this is Revelations 13 and 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right? And like I said, the whole world is getting affected by this. By the pandemic, by this war, by the food shortages, the fuel shortages, and all this business, right? It's affecting the whole world. Right? He causes both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, the technology's there. We've seen it. Right? We've seen the technology. People have been taking this technology already, showing off what it can do. Okay? They're making payments for fun. All right? But like I said, with this whole digital currency, blockchain, all this kind of business, it's going to be a total lockdown on currency, man, or of what you can and can't do with it. Complete control. So that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Okay, you're gonna need the MOTB to be receiving them credits, man, or whatever currency they be giving you. you know, for whatever purpose they're giving it you for. All right. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right. That MLTB is the access to all that stuff, because it's going to be governed by that now. Okay. No way to falsify. No way to, you know, do things without them knowing. You know, trying to find some loophole somewhere. You got guys out there trying to find loopholes and all kinds of things, right? Ways to take advantage and get around the system. You ain't getting around this system. That's the whole point. That's the whole idea, that no one can get around the system at all. All right, and that's where it's gonna go. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. I hope this is edifying, and I catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So till then, say shalom.